Hello and welcome to Achievement Hunting 101. This is level 342. I am Big Al, and with me, as always, I have the illustrious Wild West 08. How's it going, buddy?
What's going on, guys?
All right, we have a fantastic episode in store for you guys. And
would you say it's tournament fantastic?
I'm going to guess I should get that reference, but I don't.
Well, being the sports guy you are,
March Madness. I got it.
There we go.
You got it. March.
Are you a March Madness guy? Filling out your brackets, all that?
I am a sports guy until it comes to this. I know nothing about college basketball. I participate in a pool, but it's similar to the Super Bowl pool that I told you about. It's, they just put the numbers, and whoever wins, and there's no skill involved, just luck.
Yeah.
But it's cool because every single game counts, not just one game, but every single March Madness game is included. So there's little prizes building up to big prizes. So
okay.
More fun than just the one game. It's the final score only.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll follow that way. Who's the big favorite? Duke?
There's a couple big ones. Auburn is the overall number 1 seed. Then they have Duke and Florida and one other.
Florida.
Houston
Florida
is the other number 1 seed. Florida State's not in the tournament.
Local to me, there was something over the weekend with St. John's. Did they do something?
St. John's is the number 2 seed in one of the regions.
They won the right to be number 2 seed?
They take it into account how your win-loss record, how many good teams you've faced and beaten, whether you won your conference. So St. John's won the Big East Conference, I believe is what they're in. So that, and they're a good record. They've been ranked pretty much all year. So they were one of the 8 best teams. So they got the number 2 seed. I don't know if there's much else in New York that's... I'm trying to think if there's any other New York teams in there, but not that I can really think of.
Wait, did I say St. John's? I think I meant.
Well, St. John's is the one out. Yeah.
Syracuse,
I don't. Actually, you know what? They might be in.
Wait, no, it was St. John's. St. John's is red. Syracuse is orange.
Yeah. I don't think Syracuse is in, though. Let me see. No, they're not in.
I mean, that's technically New York, even though it's way far away.
Yeah.
So did they make a video game for that? Like they made the game that your kids got you for football?
You know what? That's actually no, they haven't done that. I haven't really heard anything on that yet. Just football's come back. I'm surprised that basketball hasn't come back yet with all of that stuff, but maybe someday in the future. I hadn't even heard any rumblings or anything, so I guess tag us if you have heard something, because I haven't heard anything on it, which is surprising.
I'm looking on TA right now, and I typed in NCAA basketball, and the first thing you see is EA shutting down more servers.
Surprise, surprise.
This is from August 11, 2011. Bye-bye, NCAA basketball 10. We'll see you later, even though that's the last one they did. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be close to 10, 15 years now since the last one they did. I did buy when they had the Xbox 360 sale going away, I did buy one of those ones that was like the 200-point one. That was like an hour or two.
Wow, how sad is this? This is when Army of Two went down at the same time. How sad is this? Unbelievable, EA. How come we never got Army of Two remastered? Huh? Give it to me. I'm going to write a strongly worded letter, email, smoke signal, carrier pigeon. Something.
There you go. You're in New York. You probably got lots of pigeons everywhere, so.
Don't remind me. Everybody's car looks like it's been decimated. Hubcaps missing. Bird crap everywhere. It's the New York way.
Mike Pitch must know all about the bird crap and everything right now. With his little one.
Well, speaking of bird crap, I did hear X and Elroy talking about Pigeon Simulator, and that honestly sounds really hilarious.
I remember when they announced it, looked pretty good.
Whenever I see a pigeon, like honestly, I just run away, and like my kids think I'm afraid of them. So I just go along with it. I'm like, no, I just don't want to get disgusting poop all over me. But if you could do it in the game, cause damage like Untitled Goose Game, and it's going to be fun.
Oh, I had a lot of fun with that game. That was a good one.
Untitled Goose Game, yeah. All right, so let's get into our games showcase. I'm going to go first. Now, I played a game called True Colors, A Date with Deception. And this game is a visual novel. Now, before you just automatically start fast-forwarding me like you would a typical visual novel, hear me out.
That was a good one. I liked it.
Eastasiasoft was nice enough to provide a review code. So I said, you know what? I'm going to read this novel, every last word of it. And so I did. And so I have been since the beginning of the month. It's pretty long.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So True Colors, it's spelled incorrectly. There's a U in there. Unbelievable. It's by a UK developer called Borealis. And they have made 3 games for the Xbox. The first one was called Venus Improbable Dream.
Okay.
That came out in 2021. And actually, the third one comes out next month. It's called Secrets in Green. So, not too much of a sample size, but looks like they know what they're doing. So, True Colors, A Date with Deception is an M-rated visual novel.
Really?
Yeah, and that caught me a little off guard.
So what's the M rating for?
I'm glad you asked. You probably will start thinking to yourself, oh, it must be pretty sexual, huh? And it's really not. When you boot up the game, it tells you that it contains depictions of mental trauma, horror, gore, violence, and death in red letters. Oh. But the long and the short of it is that you play as, I guess, yourself or the main character. You put in whatever name you want. It does not specify if you're a man or woman or whatever. So, and then you get hired for a job, and actually, scratch that. You work at an office, and 3 new people are hired, and you have a white woman, a black man, and a third person who you're not quite sure what gender this person is, but they have green hair and are very shy. So you get to talking to all 3 of them, and then you decide who you want to hang out with and get to know better. So if you played your visual novel, you know that it's kind of like a choose-your-own-adventure game. So unlike Telltale games where no matter what you pick, you probably wind up with a similar type ending, these, whatever choice you pick, is going to lead you in a completely different direction. The story's going to go how it's going to go. So in each of the 3, at one point you decide who you want to hang out with. And then from there, you wind up hanging out with the person. And it starts off like any other dating sim or visual novel. And you wind up liking the 3 people. No matter who you pick, you end up liking them. And then you wind up doing something bad to them. And you come to find out that you had a very bad childhood. Your parents were divorced at an early age, and they didn't pay any attention to you. And it winds up being a story of mental health. You find out that you have mental health issues, and the game doesn't take them lightly. It's very serious. So you wind up, telling your quote unquote victims about your childhood, and even while you're doing bad stuff to them, they start revealing their own secrets and revealing their own past. And depending on what choices you choose, something either bad happens or, then those are bad endings, as visual novels will have, a lot of bad endings. And there's good endings where you redeem yourself and maybe you get back with that person, even though you did something really awful to them. So I found it a very powerful game. Dealing with mental health issues. It's very progressive. So the third person, it deals with a possible non-binary person. It's represents all different types of people. There's other minor characters, but it's basically you and your demons and the person you're trying to date. So the only other visual novels I've ever read in full are the Coffee Talk games. And maybe I made a mistake fast forwarding all these other ones in the past, but I kind of felt like those were more generic, and this one is trying to be different, taking a twist on your basic game. And that's why it's called A Date with Deception, because you're ultimately going to deceive your dates. But I don't want to spoil anything else. But if you have any questions, you can shoot.
So can you speak a little bit to the achievements, what you have to do in the game?
Yes. Saving the best for last. So this game has a whopping 47 achievements.
Okay.
Which is a lot. So some of them are naturally story-based. And when you get to a screen where you're picking choices, all you have to do is hit start, hit save, and there are 18 different save slots. So just save it, and then pick one, and then you go back and you reload and pick the other. There is a walkthrough on EA. If you go to the forum page, there's a written walkthrough to speed up the process. And you can, of course, fast forward through all the dialogue and get through it in 10, 15 minutes probably, or less. But for me, it's not a cheap game. It retails for $13.99 actually.
Yeah, so one of the more expensive ones.
Little hefty, yeah. So right now it's on sale for $9.79. It's just a little more palatable. I looked at their first game, the Venus game, and that's a $10 game. So I wish this was a little cheaper, maybe like $5, $6. But if you do read it, you're going to be looking at maybe a 10 to 15 hour game, depending on how fast you read, of course. There's one thing that I don't know if other visual novel games do, and then they have voice actors, so they don't read the entire line to you. They just read like a little, "Oh, really?" or "Hey," like you'll hear them talk, like little
comments.
Yeah, little comments. I'll have to ask X to hear about that. One thing I do like is that if you hit the left bumper, you can go back a dialogue. So, like if you're just hitting A and you miss something, you can just hit left bumper and you go right back.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, so you can. So I wish all games had that. Really, if you're just hitting A and you accidentally skip something. More achievement wise, basically you get the achievements for getting the bad endings and the good endings, and the story ones in between. So it's nothing missable. It's all cut and dry. As long as you make your saves whenever you see the choice.
There's nothing on for talking with specific people or doing specific things. It's just mostly
it's all the choices.
It's all the choices.
Yeah, it's just all the choices. It's all the choices. You're gonna, if you're an achievement hunter, you're probably at least a little bit of a completionist. So if you're getting into the story, you're going to want to do everything anyway and see how the story changes depending on what you pick. That's the long and the short of it. So that's True Colors: A Date with Deception. Don't do any of the things that you see in this game to your dates, or probably won't have a second chance. Any other questions? Or are you good to go with your game?
I'm trying to think. I was trying to think of some. No, I mean, I like doing the visual novels. I like that there's the going back and doing that, or hitting the left bumper and going back. Sometimes and you're trying to read something and you accidentally do it, and then it's like if you want to see it, you have to go all the way back through it again.
Yeah,
try to get that same thing. So I do appreciate that.
And it has the thing where if you picked a different choice and they repeated some of the dialogue, you could hold right bumper to skip, and then it just shows you the new text.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing. And as always with these, you're unlocking photos for a gallery. So there's the in-game galleries, which I guess are a big thing for these visual novels. Little art pictures.
So it looks like it doesn't have that great of a rating on TA, though.
Oh, I meant to complain about that. So I imagine people automatically give a game like, a 1 star if they can easily choose it. So I don't quite understand how that works. So it's got like a 2 rating, but I don't think these people are reading the game, because if they did, I don't think they would give it a 2.
Yeah, I think at least for me personally, like if I do something like that, I don't usually rate the game because I understand I didn't actually play it. So I can't review it. I can't speak to that. So,
But I know there's some people that have to review all their games so they can tell if they played it, but at least give it a 2.5 or 3 if you didn't play it. Come on, don't just automatically give it a 0 or 1. It's rude.
Yeah, I don't know how much work goes into these games. I see a lot of them now are starting to. They used to be a lot of them used to be $5 to $10, and now they're kind of being more $10 to $15, $20. Some of those ones from East Asia that they bring over with a different developer.
There's a lot of work.
You think so?
Yeah, and I'm also pretty sure this Borealis is 1 person.
Oh, is okay.
Pretty sure
that makes sense on that stuff.
And is also the composer also, and there's different songs on every screen, stuff like that fit the mood. So yeah, I looked a little bit into Borealis's Twitter.
Okay.
And found that information. And knowing me the way you know me, I was looking for typos and stuff, but there was nothing. Everything was well done.
I thought you were going to say you were looking for girls or something on there. Pictures.
Well, I got some dating tips.
There you go.
I learned how to, make chloroform, do roofies. I mean, buy flowers.
Try some stuff for your next date with your wife.
Yes, exactly. All right, buddy. That was True Colors, A Day with Deception, and now it's Wild West's turn for his game showcase.
All right. I was going to do this game last time that we had the podcast, level 340, but since SpongeBob was leaving, I wanted to switch it up and do a little review on that for anybody that was interested in trying to finish it before or start it and complete it before, and hopefully it helped you if you did. So this time I wanted to go to a newer Game Pass game that dropped in January, and that is Sniper Elite Resistance. Are you familiar with this series at all? Have you played any of them?
I've never played them. I've heard of them, of course.
So some of them were games with gold back in the day.
They were numbered.
They were. So the last one was Sniper 5. They do have some different offshoots. I don't really follow the series that much that I know if it's the same studios or something that's doing them all. I know Rebellion does a lot of different ones, and I think they do it, but I don't want to speak for sure. But the last Sniper one was Sniper Elite 5, I believe, and that came out a few years ago. But Rebellion is the developer for this. They're the ones also that are doing Atomfall that we'll talk about a little bit about later. So, but Sniper Elite Resistance is the new Sniper Elite game, and I have to say that I was a little disappointed overall. I did not do Sniper Elite 5. I never got a chance to play with it when it was on Game Pass. I haven't bought it yet. Was kind of waiting for all the DLC because they do that. They like to release the game and then release 4 or 5 DLCs for it, make you pay for similar missions from previous games or stuff like that. So I was waiting for that. I just haven't ever gotten back to it yet and played it, but I did play Sniper Elite 4, I believe is the last one that I played. I like the series. I think they're pretty fun. They're known for doing the snipers with the long shots where you can kind of see the gross kill cams, if that's something that you like. So it's pretty fun where you can see them, shoot through the lungs, the heart. There's an achievement in this game where you got to shoot through the testicles from a certain distance. So
what?
It's like 250 meters, I think.
That's a nutty achievement.
It is very nutty, yeah. We'll leave the rest of those puns alone, though.
No.
But yeah, so that's kind of what it's known for is that this one has not reviewed really well as I've kind of looked around, and I can understand why, because the graphics look really bad, really bad considering the where we're at in the series. It kind of looks like updated 360 graphics instead of really well-tuned graphics. So something that I thought was kind of a negative as I was playing it, that as I was reading it, I can kind of understand why people did not like this at all as much. But if you do like the Sniper Elite series or the Zombie series that they do as well, you're going to like this game. I mean, it's very similar to everything else in the series that they've done. I was introduced to the series when it came out with Games with Gold. I believe Sniper 2 was Games with Gold sometime, and they had some co-op stuff in there. My partner wanted to do it, and so we did that, and I enjoyed it, and I've played some of the series off and on since then, and so I was looking forward to doing this when it came out, and so I started it, and I had fun with it overall. It did release straight into Game Pass, and you take on a new character named Terry in this one. You'll complete missions for Resistance in France and helping out the Resistance there as you're trying to, basically kill Nazis. That's what Sniper Elite is known for, is killing Nazis, especially Hitler, which I'll talk a little bit later in.
First you got Indiana Jones, now you got this.
I know.
SpongeBob kill Nazis?
I don't know. Is there any kind of meta adult references there that we haven't picked up on yet?
Oh.
So there's, I'm trying to think. I believe there's like 8 to 10 missions in here. The map sizes are very similar to previous Sniper Elite map sizes. So there's, just like the other games, there's different ways you can complete the objective. If you're playing on the easy difficulty, it's hard to die. If you're playing on the authentic difficulty, you pretty much just want to complete the main objectives, and leave. So authentic difficulty is back. You can cheese it if you want to, like in previous games. So the way you do that is have either you or a friend or whoever wants or has the save. You can save right before the end of the mission. And then what you do is you invite your friend in there. And so you invite your friend into the game, you extract from the mission, and then it counts for your friend completing it on authentic. So if someone has a save at the end of every mission, then you can beat it on an authentic in 10-15 minutes. So that is a way, if you want to get that achievement, you can do it that way.
That's fun.
It does kind of help with the stress of it if you want to just play for it on fun and you have someone that would help you out on there. I think it's nice.
Yeah.
So other than the campaign, which is just a typical Sniper Elite campaign, so I won't get into any spoilers or anything just because it is newer, and also, it's pretty much you're a resistance fighter and you're fighting Nazis. So I want to dive into some of the other modes that they have that involve achievements. So there are the typical story mode achievements. You'll get maybe 300-ish to 400 gamer score doing the campaign. I'll probably say about 300 gamer score doing the campaign missions and the achievements that are attached to those without the authentic difficulty. So you'll get a decent chunk doing that. And then they also have some other modes to play. One of the ones they have is multiplayer. They have one achievement for playing a multiplayer match. So I just kind of hopped into Team Deathmatch for one game. I didn't really enjoy the connection I had or the gameplay or anything, but I got my achievement and I kind of cut out of that after that. It wasn't very populated. There were a lot of bots in there at the time. And then, so I don't know how it is now. I don't see it lasting very long. I think there was 2 or 3 modes you could play. I just did Team Deathmatch, like I said. So there wasn't, I didn't try any of the other modes at all, but I believe there are a few different modes you can play if that's something that you're interested in. You do, as you earn kills in Team Deathmatch, or I'm guessing in any of the multiplayer matches, it goes to your overall rank. You need to get to rank 40 for an achievement, which is the highest rank you can get. Those will get you some skill points, and once you get to level 40, you can access all of the skill point trees that are in there. So that are just little things that'll help you out. I didn't really use them too much until the very end once I had them all, so they're not necessary even when you're playing on Authentic, I think. But yeah, you can. So anytime you get kills in the campaign, anytime you do certain actions, you'll get points that'll go towards your level, and then eventually, you'll get to level 40, and you'll get there easily. I was about halfway through the game with some of the weapon masteries that I had to do and everything else before when I got it. So you'll have plenty of room to spare to get that. So don't worry about that. Another mode they have is called Invasion Mode, which I don't know if they've had before. So someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is pretty, I thought it was pretty cool. So what you have to do is you have to join another person's campaign game, which you can set in the option menu. You can set to having just a private game where you're just playing yourself. No one else can jump in. Or if you play it where it's open, you can have someone else can search for a campaign game. They can come in, and their job while you're trying to do your campaign mission is to kill you. So I thought that was pretty fun. And then there's an achievement for the opposite side of that where you're playing your own campaign mission. Someone invades your game and you have to kill them. So 2 quick, easy achievements. You can boost those because they do have invite codes that you can send to your friends to invite them to your game to get those achievements quick. Or you can just, hope that you get a random in the game and you can kill them and everything. But I thought that was pretty interesting to do. Once I got the achievements, I did turn it off because I kept getting invaded, and it was a little annoying because I was trying to do the campaign stuff, and I kept having to worry about this other sniper running around. So eventually I did turn it off, but I thought it was an interesting mode to add to the game. Like a lot of other Sniper Elite games, there are a lot of miscellaneous achievements in there. Like I mentioned before, there's an achievement called Das Nuts for shooting a testicle shot over. It wasn't 250 meters; it was 100 meters. So I was wrong on that. But a lot of
thank goodness.
Yeah, so you can be a little bit closer, but
so if you look at the solution, the person who wrote it says, I did this as the first achievement in the game because, well, I regret nothing.
That's probably a good first achievement to get for the game, right? But
yeah,
it's
got a 2 ratio. Get it on the thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's a Game Pass game, so I can see it having kind of a higher ratio.
Yeah, Game Pass, yeah. It's also PC Game Pass, so you could boost with yourself.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, so you got some miscellaneous achievements like having to have a tank shoot another tank and kill enemies in certain ways and stuff like that. So there's things that are not hard that you can easily boost. Rebellion, as far as I know, they've always done this with their Sniper Elite games where you can save it pretty much anywhere you want to, unless you're shooting or something like that. But you can pretty much save wherever you want. So there's like a achievement for killing like 50 enemies with traps. So after you kill an enemy, you can place like a grenade on them or something, and you can get other enemies to come over to your location, and then you kill them, and that counts as a trap. Well, if you save right before those enemies come and trigger that trap, then you can just load the game up and it'll just keep adding to your count until you get the achievement. So it's very easy to do a lot of these things if you make the right save at the right spot. All the campaign missions have collectibles in them, and there's great guides on TAs that have maps on them, or I'm sure there's YouTube guides to show you where there's at. So there's different collectibles for that, and you can, get all those achievements, but they're very easy, and once you pick them up, they do track right away. So you don't have to worry about picking them up if you die. All the campaign missions also, or I guess I thought maybe not all, but most of the campaign missions have optional objectives. You need to do all of them to get an achievement as well. You get an achievement with your first, let me see. No, you get an achievement with half of them. I don't see it with the first, but yeah, you get an achievement when you finish all of them at least for sure. I know that. But so yeah, do all the optional objectives on there. I was having a hard time saying that. And that'll get you those achievements. Another one that they have is a survival mode. So this is up to a 4-player co-op, and you have to survive 12 rounds of enemies. So enemies will come onto the map. You have to kill all of them, and then you move on to the next round. So I did it online with 3 other random players, and we were able to do it. I did try to do it with one other person before, and it was kind of hard. I have heard people saying that they jumped in at the last, like mission 12 online. They got lucky and just joined someone that had either quit or disconnected or something like that, and they were able to join on round 12 and then be able to still get the achievement. So I don't think you have to do all 12 rounds, but that is an achievement there. And then a bulk of the hard achievements, I would say, are called propaganda missions. During the game, you'll find propaganda posters that you'll need to pick up. They're part of the collectibles. And once you collect them, it'll unlock a propaganda mission. And you have to do these missions. I believe there's 6 of them. You have to do them on Authentic. And there's no way that you can cheese this at all. So you'll have to do them. Half of them are maps that you'll play as you'll start at a spot and you'll have to get enemies. You'll have to kill enemies for points. And the best way to do it is doing stealth kills or headshots where no one else can see you. And you have to get a certain amount of points to get a gold medal to be able to earn that achievement, because one of the achievements asks you to get a gold medal on Authentic on all the maps. So 3 of the maps are this way, where you'll start and you'll just basically try to, there's a timer as well, so you'll try to get as much as you can done in that time to get a high score. And if you kill an officer during this time, it'll increase your score for like a 30 seconds, 45 seconds. So it's a little bit of strategy and trying to time all of that together, but not too bad. And there were some guides out there to help me when I was kind of struggling on which direction to take on YouTube. So look for those if you're interested in that. The other half are just straight sniper missions. Those can be a little difficult because you're kind of far away, and on Authentic in Sniper Elite, the sniper bullets are not just, like where you shoot it and it just goes and you hits them wherever you're pointing. It actually takes into account like the wind and how far you're shooting, and so the bullet will drop a little bit and everything. So that can be a little difficult if you're not used to that, but overall, it took me, some of the maps took me a few tries to do, but they're not too difficult overall. I had a lot of fun with them, trying to get the score and everything. Everything unlocked right for me. There were some issues that I had, and I think that they've patched some of it, although I don't know for sure if it is completely taken care of the issue because I've done it. But one of the issues I ran into on when I was doing it on Authentic on some of the map missions where I was actually having to go and get kills, not with my sniper rifle, but with, my pistol and everything, was that the counts, when I would go to try to stealth kill an enemy from behind, if I wasn't doing it in the right way, like if I wasn't like running at the right second and doing it and hitting them from behind, it wasn't counting it as a stealth kill from behind, which gets you more points. And so you had to crouch walk up to them, and then you had to start running at the quickly right behind them to get the right point. It was a mess to try to figure out how to get it to work. So there were some issues there that they said that they patched it in their last one, but I don't know if it actually fixed it, because I think some people were still having some issues there and everything. So anyways, might still be some issues on the propaganda missions, but the achievements unlocked when they were supposed to, so that's fine. The last thing that I wanted to discuss is DLC, because that's what Rebellion is known for. They love doing their little DLCs. This one did release with one DLC at the beginning, and that was called, let me pull it up real fast. It was Target Führer Lights Camera Achung. I'm probably butchering that, and so I'm sorry. So this was just a separate little mission, because they always like to have DLC where you have to kill Hitler. So that's basically the time they have achievements for that, where you have to kill him with a testicle shot. They do. You can look back through all of their games, and that's what they do. So you have to kill him 5 times, kill him with a testicle shot, kill him from far away. You have to do it on Authentic difficulty. You have to only kill him and leave the mission, nobody else. So they have different things in that DLC pack to do. And I believe it's on a discount for the game with Game Pass. They do have a season pass. You can buy it at a discount as well. So this one is normally $6.99, and it is really with the Game Pass discount, it's $6.29. The season pass is normally $34.99, which I think is crazy, and it's with the Game Pass discount, it's $31.49. So today,
is there more to come though?
There is more to come. So today, on the 18th of March, they just released the second DLC. It was $11.99. I decided not to buy the season pass because I just wanted to spread out purchases and everything. And so I just ended up buying this one without the Game Pass discount today. And so I finished the second DLC today, and that presented just a second mission with 3 achievements in there. So you had to beat it on authentic difficulty, beat the mission, and then also do some of the objectives to get a 2-star rating in there. So wasn't that difficult at all. It took me about an hour and a half to complete today because I was kind of taking things a little slow and all that. So, but that's kind of what Sniper Elite does. I'm sure there's going to be some more DLC to come in the future. Is this a series? You said you haven't really played it, but did you know about it all?
No.
The zombie army?
Yeah. Here and there. There's so many of them, I can't believe it.
Yeah. If you look at the Rebellion developer, they've got quite a bit. Let's see. There's Sniper Elite 5, Zombie Army 4, Sniper Elite 4 and 3. So I didn't do 4. I did do 3. 3 was the last one I did. Haven't done any of the Zombie Army ones. I did Sniper Elite V2. I believe that was Games with Gold. So, yeah, I think it's a good game. It's not that difficult. It's about a 20-ish hour completion on the base game, maybe a little less depending on how fast you can play. DLC adds a couple more hours in there, so nothing too bad. And I do have saves on the DLC. I don't have saves on the campaign, but I do have saves on the DLC. So if anybody ever wants to get that done quickly, I can help them out with that. Just message me and I'll help out as I can. Nice. But yeah, Sniper Elite Resistance.
So I do have a question.
Okay.
Does the retail version come with a sniper rifle?
No.
No?
And if it
so
did,
how the hell are you supposed to do authentic mode?
Well,
not authentic.
Get your Connect out and just pretend like you're doing it.
Yeah. Oh.
Just be careful.
You in your living room.
Your government might be watching you.
We used to play Duck Hunt back in the day to see with the sniper rifle, trying to take out some Nazis in your living room.
Yeah.
Honey, why is there a bullet hole in the TV? No reason, dear. I think authentic mode is misnamed.
It's not bad. I don't remember this in the other Sniper Elite games, but they did introduce a bleeding effect if you get hit by a sniper. So you have to have bandages and med kits and everything. It's usually a couple hits on authentic mode and you're dead. But if you get spotted, it's kind of game over because there's alarms and everything that goes on. So you want to try to do it as stealth as possible. But you can save anywhere. So you can do a save or make a save, go kill someone. If you're not noticed, then you can continue on with the save or make a new save or whatever you want to do.
Gotcha. All right. Well, it sounds fun, but also intimidating with a lot of content. Not to complain about a lot of content, but it's a lot of content. But I like 4-player. Always sounds fun for me. So my group, I might have to think about this one.
So 4-player is only for the survival missions. You can do co-op. You can do co-op for the game, but I think 2 players is the most you can do. I don't think you can do anything more. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you for that. All right. And of course, that was Sniper Elite Resistance. Okay. So it looks like it's time for Game Pass news. Koosh's ears is lit up. Koosh, wherever you are, there's new Game Pass games. Listen up, buddy.
He has a spotlight just like Batman. Whenever Game Pass comes on, just lights up the sky for him.
The Game Pass signal. Melissa McGame Pass, come.
All right, so out now on Game Pass. We did not get podcasted at all because it came out today. So that's awesome. The first one is 33 Immortals. It's kind of the carryover from the first half, but it is releasing today on the 18th of March. It's a game preview still, so it's Game Pass Ultimate, PC Game Pass, so that's on your Xbox Series X and S, PC, and cloud. No achievements yet that I saw as of the 18th, so just enjoy it and have fun with the game. March 19th, we get our first new edition, and that's Octopath Traveler 2 for Game Pass Standard, and that's on console. It's a role-playing turn-based game, 80 to 100 hours. And you also get Train Simulator 5, so get your train hats on and play that. That's a Game Pass Standard on console as well. Simulation game, 1 to 2 hour base game completions, but I counted them today, and there's 12 DLCs so far, but there is no unobtainables like in Train Simulator 5 or 4. So hopefully that stays that way. I know you're going to rush to get that installed right now, right?
Yes.
Want to co-op some train simulation?
I mean, I would.
March 20th, we get a brand new game called Myth Wrecked Ambrosia Island. Game Pass Standard Ultimate PC for console, PC, and cloud. That is an adventure game with a 8 to 15 hour possible completion. There's not a specific time on there, so I was kind of estimating from what people have said. Not a lot of people have started it or completed it yet. I'm sure that number will shoot up once it releases into Game Pass. The long-awaited...
Oh, by the way.
Oh, go ahead.
I think you said the wrong genre for Train Simulator.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Is it first-person shooter?
What does Elroy always say? It's a train game is on rails, of course.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. You
should know better. Carry on. Bring on the big one.
I know. I was going to say, this is the big one that I know got some discussion today in the Discord. I know Koosh is extremely happy. He said he was vindicated, which I love that gif, by the way. My wife and I are still watching 9-9 right now. But it is Blizzard Arcade Collection, Game Pass Standard, Ultimate, and PC. So it's a console, PC, and cloud. It's a collection genre, and it's a 6 to 8 hour completion. So I'm sure I'll be hearing about that.
You think it'll be here to stay now?
There's a good chance. We haven't seen any Activision games leave yet. So, but still, I mean, it's not that, even if it does end up leaving sometime, 6 to 8 hours, not that long to try to get through it. On March 26th, we get 2 new games for Game Pass Core. The first one is Tunic, is moving over to Game Pass Core. It's a 15 to 20 hour completion action adventure with some accessibility options. I haven't gotten back quite that far to see what levels it's on yet, but we have talked about it on the podcast in the past, so check for that if you're interested to see a review on it. We also have Batman Arkham Knight on Game Pass Core. That is a stealth open world beat 'em up. 60 to 80 hour completion, has a lot of DLC, but I regularly see it go on sale with all the DLC editions. So if that's something that it'd probably be cheaper just to buy it and get all the DLC with it and everything. So I think I've seen it for as low as $5, right? I've never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
We also have, I guess not. It was not 2, but we had 3 games coming on the 20th, and that was Monster Sanctuary on Game Pass Core as well. March 26th. Monster Sanctuary Game Pass Core on console. It's a role-playing platformer Metroidvania turn-based game. 40 to 50 hour completion with 1 update that adds achievements to it. So those are all coming out on March 26th to Game Pass Core on console. And then the big one is March 27th. We have Atomfall on Game Pass Ultimate, PC Game Pass for console, PC, and cloud. It's labeled as a first-person shooter, so I'm excited to see how that one releases and everything. So we'll see how it goes. Anything in there that's interesting to you, or gonna pass?
Not really. Maybe the Blizzard Arcade Collection. I'll just see what's in there again.
Yeah, that looks interesting, along with
Lost Vikings.
Atomfall. Yeah, I think there's a Vikings thing.
That one's in there, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Vikings thing. Rock and roll racing.
Yeah. Now we will move on to leaving Game Pass, and these are all leaving March 31st. We have Yakuza 0, action adventure open world, 150 to 200 hour completion with a TA walkthrough. You also have Yakuza Kiwami and Kiwami 2 are both leaving. They are action adventure open world games with a 60 to 80 hour completion time. And last, Yakuza Like a Dragon, I believe that's going to take all of them out.
Dragon.
That is a role-playing open-world turn-based game, 80 to 100 hour with a TA walkthrough. So I've been watching some EA. You have me saying that. LSOC has been doing that for quite some time. I think he's finished with it now, but I was watching him do that on Twitch, and it looks pretty interesting. It's a series I might try someday. Another one that is leaving on the 31st is Monster Hunter Rise. It's an action RPG role-playing game. It has one add-on that brings its total completion time to 600 to 1,000 hours.
Oh, let's start it.
So I don't think that even now, by the time this releases, you'll have enough time in the day to do that. But yeah, the add-on adds 300 to 500 hours alone. I saw today when I was adding all this stuff on the document. So, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged is also leaving. It's an arcade racing automobile, 20-ish hour completion with 4 add-ons. I think Koosh recommended us to buy the complete edition, whatever it is. He said that'd be worth it to buy it with the add-ons. I know he did a review of it on the past as well, so check that out. MLB The Show 24 is actually leaving. I guess we just got a small reprieve from the beginning of the month, like that was predicted. But that's a sports baseball game, 6 to 8 hour completion. And you talked about that on level 303 with Matriarch, I believe.
I did.
Matriarch.
And we both completed it just to be on the safe side. Because remember last time we said it was on the list and then they took it off the list. Just to be on the safe side, we both completed it. The last achievement was for playing a bunch of games, a bunch of 3-inning games. But all you have to do is pick the mode where you only play as yourself, and then you just bumped, and then basically it sims the rest of the game for you, and you can get that done in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I did a review on it last year after it came out.
Yeah.
It's good. It's sad that the next one's not on there, but I saw Vulgar playing it, so he'll have to share his impressions on it sometime in the Discord or something and see.
I know firsthand, as 24 was leaving, he started playing it, like legit playing it. Like he had fun making a player in the minor leagues and worked his way up to the majors and stuff like that. So he bought it full price as far as I know. And he's been playing it. Yeah. Like, to actually play it.
Yeah.
Who does these things? More on that later.
Yeah. Open Roads is also leaving. That's an adventure game. It's a half hour to an hour completion. So there's a quick one there if you're trying to get that finished up or start it and finish it before it leaves. And I believe it's it released in March of last year. So that would help you to your targets this year too. The Lamplighters League is a strategy turn-based game with a 50 to 60 hour completion. And the one that I know is going to shock all of us and is with a heavy heart that I have to say that Lil Gator Game is leaving.
That one stings.
I'll let it sink in here.
Not Lil Gator.
Little moment of silence for Lil Gator Game.
Now the Gator in the room, of course, is that a new DLC was announced for this guy, so it stands to reason that we might get screwed unless there's no achievements attached, which is also possible.
Yeah, I just started it today, and I could see how they could add some new, like they could add another island or something to that and have you go play over there or something. So I could see how they could add some DLC to it.
You'll definitely get the base game done.
Yeah.
Probably by the time this call ends.
Well, I played for about 2-ish hours and I completed the game. So now I just got to do all the cleanup stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good. The DLC thing. Yeah. I mean,
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. But
it's a $20 game on sale for $12. Probably worth waiting.
But those are all that's leaving on the 31st of March. So anything that's you're interested in, make sure to get going on that so you can finish it before it leaves.
All right. So do you know why you're in trouble?
What's that? Did I not say it correctly?
Oh, no, I wouldn't correct anyone's grammar, spelling, pronunciation. I'm too good for that. Big L wouldn't do that. And Big L wouldn't tell you how to play your games either, right? I mean, he wouldn't do that. Because this is an achievement podcast, and people can get the achievements on their tag any which way that they want to. Even when console commands are found and people are just willy-nilly getting completions left and right. So I guess it's our responsibility to let you know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
One Lonely Outpost is available on Game Pass, and it was discovered today that you can get all the achievements by using console commands. And there must be a problem with my computer screen. It's saying right here that Wild West 08 has 27,963 TA score in that game, so it must be a typo.
Yeah, it definitely is.
He wouldn't do that. He's a stand-up guy, completionist, loves his games, loves his 200-hour games. He wouldn't take that opportunity away from himself like that. So must be a mistake. I know Koosh Moose is the same. And unbelievable, you guys. Do you know anything about this game? Like a Stardew-esque game?
Yeah, that's what we kind of talked about a little bit on the last podcast.
I'm just looking at the picture. Yeah.
It's a little Stardew-esque.
Oh, yeah. You did. I told you. Oh, yeah, right. Destiny. It's like Doom. Well, I guess now you don't have to ever know how it is.
No, I think I'm going to keep it installed, and I'm going to test it out and see how it is.
I assume you can only do that on the PC?
Yes. As far as I know, I don't know if you can do it on the keyboard, plug it into the Xbox, but I'm pretty sure it's a PC thing.
I'm just asking out of morbid curiosity. I would never be installing this game as we speak and using this to beat the boss rush. Oh, yeah, boss rush. That's a new TA contest. You beat bosses together as a community. It's fun. Join that. Let's beat some bosses. Huh. Well, if you see that Big L got the completion, I did it legit. So everyone knows.
Yeah, because that's totally screams Big L on the game genre.
Yeah. Yes. It does. I love my 300-hour management simulation games.
Well, it wasn't ever a 300-hour game.
Oh.
Let me see. The
way I play?
The first person that beat it is shout out to Zhao Grin on TA. He was the first person to beat it. He had 74 hours in it almost. And that was blind.
Yeah, I was talking to you if that guy's going to be mad.
Yeah, could be.
He's going to be mad to see his ratio go bye-bye. Achievement hunters. What will they do and what won't they do? All right. I have something to tell you.
Okay.
Brag camp. You ready to be proud of me?
Yes.
All right. It only took 17 years, but I have completed the campaign of Assassin's Creed 1.
Shoot.
You proud of me?
Yes. You're gonna be in a retirement home now next, doing number 2.
Oh my gosh.
Honey, I can't die. I gotta find out what happened.
Yeah, the middle of the game was a little much, but I really liked the end game. It did some cool stuff. And I'm looking forward to to playing number 2 and seeing the quality of life improvements. But I did, and I much to the chagrin of Mr. Ahizo, I did get the achievement for talking with Lucy, conversationalist achievement. I did not get the one with the glitches because I didn't know about it until it was too late.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you can redo the first memory block over and over until it pops. So it's looking for a certain number of them. And that's the only one I need, besides the flag finding. So I think I'm going to, at this point, I may as well complete it, right? Right? Yeah. And then I can go to number 2.
There you go.
More on that in 20 years. If we even have retirement. Anyway, that's another story. For another day, I'm going to go play One Lonely Outpost for fun. Do you have any brags that you wanted to discuss, or are we good to go? Community's not tagging me anymore.
I don't.
Bunch of meanies.
I don't think I didn't really see too much.
I think the biggest brag this week was that a Trapgasm got a Gears of 5 replica Lancer.
Oh, cool.
Now, if he can get a Lancer, how come you can't get a sniper rifle, sir?
That's the question for the government there.
If you got a Lancer or a sniper rifle, no one would know. But if you get your hands on some eggs, we're going to ask questions.
There, yeah, for sure.
Especially before Easter, we need some eggs. Oh, Waka Bell completed Dead Cells. That's a good one. There. Cratch Waka, I miss you. Give us a segment sometime, will you, Waka? We need some Waka's Weird Wonders. Always was a good time. All right. My friends, thank you for listening. Wild West, thank you for joining me as always. If you have any comments, please visit us in our Discord and podcast discussion channel. We always like to hear what you think. Have a good day, and class is dismissed. Goodbye.
See ya.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 20 of Game Passible, the March 2025 edition, where we discuss, what is that, March, April, May? Oh, man, that's like right around summertime. I am Freemhole, your host, and I'm here joined by Mr. Koosh Moose. How you doing, Koosh?
Not too bad. How are you?
A co-host, Mr. Koosh Moose.
Oh, how are you?
There you go. See, that all I needed was that little boost of extra energy. Good. It's been one of those fun. Just finished spring break. Took a nice trip to the Dominican Republic. Nice and relaxed. I actually broke a bunch of streaks because I didn't get to play any games. Turns out the internet in an island country like that's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
So I could get Balatro to work, and that was about the extent of it, which is great because I love Balatro. That's a super fun game.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad that works out for you. I would be sad.
Yeah, that's totally fair. But I was plenty relaxed, plenty to do, and then when I got home, it's one of those. I'm in that beautiful window where my kids have finished their winter sports and the spring sports haven't started. But they still have a bunch of homework. So like the wife is reading, the kids are doing homework, and it's like, hey, I just got home from work. Did you say 5 hours of video games? Okay, I guess I'll do that.
Oh, that's glorious.
Glorious. It's the good old days of being a single guy. Because my wife's got a great book series she's reading, and my kids are good students. So hey, that's fantastic. Everything's coming up for him. How are you doing?
It's coming up, Millhouse. Good job. Good for you.
How have you been?
Oh, I'm still good. I'm pretty much always good. I get a lot of game time in, which is perfect. And man, the games are just piling up. They're stacking up.
They really are.
Yeah, buried under too many good games.
I hear that. Yeah, there's a ton out there. Thankfully, I mean, I've using this data, I've been able to pick a couple things off before they show up, and I'm only leaving some of the, the borderline ones where, maybe I can be convinced. Solar Ash, as an example, I was like, I kind of want to play that, but 20 hours, like, I could probably wait till that thing goes. And sure enough, there it is. I'm doing the same thing this month with Open Roads, right? That I totally could keep that for later. But hey, we should probably get into that, right? We got all the games that are leaving the service here in March.
Yep.
So, between wave 1 and 2, nothing super jumps out that needs to be talked about. We had Liza P and No More Heroes 3, right? Those are the only titles in the series or from the publisher on those. But Evil West, we lost. And that was at the 12-month mark by Focus Home Interactive. So this one pops up because there's 3 games coming up in the next couple of months. We talked about a Plague Tale Requiem coming up on the 2.5-year mark. That comes up in April. I do think that's a pretty legit date. So that is like the next kind of bigger game on my list to tackle. No other reason than I just think that Bloomy date's pretty locked in there, and it's a good thing. Now, the only thing that could change that, and we've seen that with a couple of other titles here, is when Microsoft reaches a deal to put that into core or standard, right? And they get a little stay of execution. The way that that has been looking is if it's a 1-year contract, you'll go about 9 months, and then the game will come into standard, and then you got 3 months left of that. What I've seen now with the core switch is that's a brand new contract. So you got closing dates, and then they get re-upped and renegotiated, and we'll talk about that when we get to some of the announcements that we had for Wave 2 this month. But so Plague Tale Requiem in April, Chance of Sonar in May. That's a mid-May one, and Dordogne is in mid-June. So those next 3 months, one title each, I think are pretty hot. Chance of Sonar and Dordogne are obviously very quick completions, but I think I've mentioned this before, highly recommend not cheating your way through Chance of Sonar. That game is glorious. It's one of my top games of all time. I absolutely loved figuring out the languages and the nuance of grammar, and it's essentially just solving a giant puzzle. And so you can easily look up all the things and finish it in a couple of hours, but do yourself a favor. You'll get a lot more out of it, but it'll take you that 10-hour range, 8 to 10 hours, because you got to put some brain power to it. Did you do Chance of Sonar?
I started it, yeah, and I second that. Having not finished it, having not used a guide or anything, that game, there is nothing like that game.
No.
Like there's
So unique.
nothing else. Yeah, so you're not going to find like an easier, smaller version that you get by on. This is a unique game, and I feel like it's something you should experience. And then, if you don't like that experience, sure, go ahead, guide.
Totally.
And my problem, once I start a guide, it's very hard to stop guiding. So just give it a fair shake and then figure it out.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything that's missable. So you're totally free to go in blind.
Yeah.
So I think the only missable thing is like, let me look. I'm gonna pull it up because I think the only possible there's nothing that's missable. I was gonna say like, when you go to the staircase to the final boss or whatever, like the room, like maybe that's a point of no return. Yeah, it turns out it's not.
Gotcha.
You chapter select all you want and get back to those spots.
Yeah, and get anything you might have missed.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh, but it's so good. Actually, you do have to, honestly, you do kind of have to go back anyway because there's some after stuff.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Love that freaking game. It's so good. Absolutely so good. The other two that, let's see, have a couple things that we should talk about. We brought up Solar Ash and Open Roads. Those are both Annapurna joints. Annapurna has 2 more titles coming up in the near future. Thirsty Suitors at 18 months. That comes up on May 1st. And Flock hitting the 12 months. That's mid-July. I think both of those dates are pretty firm. So if those 2 titles were on your list, Thirsty Suitors and Flock, I'd get on those. And then that's really it in terms of extra stuff. The big thing is Sega finally pulling all of the Yakuza titles out. I'm kind of bummed. I mean, I kept Like a Dragon on there for such a long time. You know me, a big turn-based guy, and it keeps showing up on my RTDL, and it's like, just keep kicking it down the road. It's been in the thing forever. It's gonna stay there forever, and now it's finally gone, and it's like, oh well. But I think the price is down to like $20 now, so it goes on sale all the time. So I'll get it eventually.
I've seen it on like Woot or Amazon for like $6. So if you are okay with physical, you still have a console that has a slot that you put discs in.
That's true. That's true. Does that thing work?
Oh yeah. You can actually put discs in there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for real. Actually, I did end up getting Elden Ring physical just because it was on that crazy Amazon sale. It was a good gift for, a grandparent to get me or something. Oh, yeah. But what's left in the Sega vault is Football Manager 2024. We don't have an updated date yet, right? It was originally mid-March, the 2024 version, and that's when the 2025 was supposed to come in. We talked about it before. It is canceled. So we don't know, does 2024 just stay in the service indefinitely? Not quite sure. And there's no updated Bloomy date on that one yet. And then the other one for Sega was Persona 3 Reload. And that was recently just extended out to July 1st. Now, July 1st on a Persona game, it's still not much time. So, yeah, you might have gotten a bit of a stay of execution, but I'd get on that right now if that was your jam. Monster Hunter Rise is leaving, and that's at 27 months by Capcom. I'm imagining that's because of Monster Hunter Wilds coming out, that they want to kind of clear the old stuff. So I don't really give much stock into the 27-month date, but the Capcom date for Kinetsugami Path of the Goddess coming up in mid-July, I do think is a pretty good high percentage that game's going to end up leaving the service. We were just talking about that a bit before the show. Koosh, you said super enjoyed it. It's on my list. What's the timing on that? That's like a 20 to 25?
I want to say it's probably a 2025. Granted, I've only gone 2, 3, maybe 4 levels deep, but I really enjoy it, and I was like, I definitely want to hit this before it leaves.
Ooh, 30 to 35. A little extra. Little extra.
50% longer than I thought. So
So yeah, that's certainly on the list. And we got mid-July for that one, but you can imagine things are going to start heating up. There's some really fun titles coming out from Xbox first party. So, don't leave that when you have a window that potentially you could squeeze that in. The last one is Lamplighters League. That's leaving at 18 months by Paradox Interactive. Paradox is kind of a weird company. They do a lot of random titles, a lot of PC-focused things. But one that piques my interest that's coming up is the Shadowrun trilogy. It's coming up on 3 years in mid-June. That was kind of an E3 announcement of when they brought that back in. There's a good chance that that's the case, but that one's a weird one because I believe Microsoft has the Shadowrun IP, right? Do they have the rights to that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of one of those weird ones of like, is it fall into that Microsoft title, like nebulous range where, yeah, it's technically published by somebody else, but it's their IP so that or their rights so they can do with it whatever they want. I don't quite know.
I'm willing to take the risk that it's not.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember last time, did I talk about Lamplighters League? I know I brought it up and I was having a lot of fun with it.
I think you and I talked about it, but I don't think we recorded that conversation.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I finished it. I got the completion. I was the 31st person to do it. And it was the biggest issue with that game is you can do everything in one run, pretty much. If you go to Survivor difficulty right away, and the Survivor difficulty it's challenging, but it was totally manageable. What ends up happening is you have to recruit all of the different people, and so there's an achievement for getting a full squad of 10 people, and then that just so happens to also be everybody else, but you're going against these clocks, and it's random when those things show up. So I was getting impatient, and I was like, well, I'll just do a quick burn-through run and start up, because you can start up a custom game with new people, and I was like, I'll just start with the new people to get these interactions that I need. And that worked. That worked great. The problem is you have to discover all the people. So I bought a piece of DLC. I think it was free DLC, but I quote unquote bought it, so now it's part of my game. That did count for the 10 people, but then it locked out that save file from getting that new person that I needed. So I had to play a complete run. Got to the very end to just burn through the clock so that I could try and get this other guy to show up. And the locations on the map indicate who they're looking for. And I was looking for this Russian dude. And when Russia came up, I was like, oh my God, it's got to be him. It's got to be the recruit. I'm going to go get him. And I looked, and it was my DLC character. Apparently he's also Russian. It's like, God, get out of here. And then the next one showed up, and I was like, oh, that's probably it. And it was Poland. I was like, come on. And then I finally got Moscow, and that was the last achievement I needed. But I did like the game. It's a good turn-based tactics game. And I don't think you'll get it done in the 2 weeks for sure. But in terms of buying it, it's the developer has said they're completely done with the product, so there's not going to be any DLC. There's not going to be anything. It's a complete standalone as is. So if you like tactics games, I'm sure it'll be cheap and it works just fine. I say that because one of the games, it's not a Game Pass game, but I'm thinking about it right now because I have it running upstairs. Is a tactics game that showed up on my RTDL, and I'm a. Do you play a lot of Warhammer? Are you familiar with the Warhammer universe, Koosh?
I do not play a lot of Warhammer, but I think it looks cool. And
Yeah.
the few games I have played, I've enjoyed.
Yeah. So I used to play the actual tabletop game, both the 40K version and the fantasy version. A bunch of armies. I mean, I got a closet full of painted figures over here and stuff. But one of the sub games that really holds a special place in my heart is called Necromunda. And it's, if you're familiar with the Mordheim game, it's essentially gang related, right? So it's, you've got a small group of characters, and they so the Necromunda version is like a gang, right? Like you would imagine kids, people who are down on their luck and join up together in a brotherhood and cause mayhem. Mordheim is the fantasy version where they attack a town, whatever. So we used to play the tabletop game on my summer vacations, and we'd set it up. And so there's just this wonderful nostalgia for that old tabletop game. And they made a tactics version of that game, which is essentially the game that I played physically when I was a youth. And I was just so pumped for it. And so I ended up buying it forever ago. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have a tactics game on my active radar right now. It's on my RTDL. I'm going to give this thing a whirl. It has been a while since I have played a game that is such a buggy mess. Holy crap. It is unreal how poorly this runs.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Those guys are just so willing to sell that license.
100%.
Never know.
100%. And so what ended up happening is the achievement I have is to do some of this operation. Although you have to do these operations, and so you set up a gang, and before you do that, it's like, hey, we highly recommend you play the story mode to learn how to play the game first. I was like, all right, fine. So I played the first 2 missions of the story mode just to kind of get an understanding of the buttons and how things work. They introduced a couple of things, and I got to the 3rd level, and I kind of breezed through that one. And I was like, okay, I think I got this. But in that 3rd level of the story, I had like 6 turns, and I went and I wiped everybody out, and I had to go to this elevator on the other side, and I hit the button for the elevator. I have 1 turn left. I hit the button for the elevator, and it says, oh, the servers went down. You got to go over to this spot and reboot them. And I was like, oh, okay, boy, that's unfortunate. I only got 1 turn left. But you know what? I'd left myself pretty good so these guys can still get to the locations. And so my boss went over, and she hit the button, and then I had another person come over. She hit the 2nd button, and so then I had the 3rd button, and I walk over there. There's a little icon, and I can't do anything with it. It doesn't work. There's no thing. I was like, oh well, maybe it's because like her player class can't interface with this. Maybe she's too dumb or something. Well, I'll just switch to another character. They couldn't do it. Switch to my 3rd and final character. They couldn't do it. And I was like, what? Total bug. Thing doesn't work. And so I was like, well, I'll save and quit, and I'll come back. I did. Still didn't work. And I was like, well, all right, I guess I'll just end the turn and see if my leader can then interface with it. Well, that was my last turn, and they said, you lost the mission. Like, oh my God, that's so frustrating. It's like, well, I'm just going to go in and go after my RTDL achievement. Let's get this out of the way. And so I did this operation, and you have to get a bunch of salvage. It's like grab some crates and bring them to extraction. And so I start playing, and I see the other gang there, and I wipe out the gang, and they're like, okay, go grab the crates. And I'm like holding the button to like scan the field and find these crates. They never spawned. So there was supposed to be a bunch of crates all over the field, and they never spawned. And so I ended up walking away with nothing, and it said that I lost the battle, even though I killed every single one of their dudes. It's because I came away empty-handed, and I was like, this is unreal. This is so sad. So I have it running upstairs. We'll see if I can get this achievement, but sorry for the little bit of a tangent there. But it is rough.
Well, it sounds like a good word to the wise.
Yeah.
Maybe don't put yourself through this.
Yeah, I hear that. Okay, let's jump into anything in the next couple of months. I think that has popped up that should be critical here. We did the March, coming up in April. A bunch of stuff that got extended. We talked about before. Yeah, pretty much everything is as it was. I think I stand by everything that was there. So we can jump right into May. Okay, so this is where we stand. We'll start with some announcements. So I didn't realize that Bloomy updates their blog mid-month. It's usually a first of the month thing. They send out the whole thing, and I can look at the dates. Well, I just so happened to check because I wanted to look up something. Because sometimes the dates that are in there are indicative of a sale. And I was like, oh, spring sale. I wonder if that date was in here somewhere. Didn't find it. But I did notice they updated it. And one of the games that came out in December, Wild Frost, got a release date. And got an exit date. And so it looks like that one's going to be a 12-monther. So if you're looking to do that, that is December for Wild Frost. Fun card game, deck building, Monster Train, Slay the Spire type-ish game. Super cartoony art style, fun, unique mechanics. I liked it a lot. It was cool. So there's that one. And then a few games got extended. We had Frostpunk, which is both console and PC, got extended 10 months. So that's out to November of this year. Genesis Noir got extended 9 months. That's out to December of this year. Bluey, thought was going to be out of here. Bluey, the video game, got another 1-year bonus. So that'll be next March. In addition to Disney Dreamlight Valley, which, the Game Pass version of it gets you some bonus stuff. That's another 1-year extension to March. And then finally, Go Mecha Ball was extended out to August of 2026. So that's an 18-month bonus on that one. So those all got extensions. So if they were on your radar, I ended up finishing Bluey last month just to make sure I could get rid of it. But I didn't end up starting Go Mecha Ball, but that was on my list of things to take a crack at.
Yeah.
We go to the long lifers section here. These are some of those games that have been on here forever, such as Payday 2. This has a date coming up in May here, and it'll be 97 months, just over 8 years for this title, published by 505 Games. I honestly, at this point, no idea. And if you haven't played Payday 2 in the last 8 years, that's on you. That's definitely on you. Jurassic World Evolution 2, hitting its 3-year mark in May. That's by Frontier Developments. This is the longest life game that's been in the publisher. Everything else is left at 12 or 18 months, so your guess is as good as mine is when this one ends up leaving. Potential. I don't even know if there's anything in the works behind it. So those, I guess it's a management game is what I would call it. Simish game. So 3 years coming up in May. Another sim game, Farming Sim 22. This has been in the service for 3 years by Giants Software. All the other Farming Sim games kind of left all over the place. So I don't know what that means, but they were all done by other publishers. So this one is Giants Software. I believe this is a self-published version for them. So I don't know. Are there other games? Have there been like 23, 24, 25? Where do we end up with the Farming Sim series?
Well, as far as do they exist? Yes, I'm pretty sure they still
all
put
of
out
them
every year, but I don't think that they come to Game Pass.
Yeah.
Or if they do, I just ignore them. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, Farming Sim 25 just came out in 2024, November of 2024. So who knows? But anyway, you've had lots of time to play 2022.
Yeah.
And then finally,
you're not going to do it, people.
Finally, the other long lifer, Generation Zero. 3.5 years. This is from Systemic Reaction. This came up on at the 18-month mark in the leaving soon section. So you know how you get that little thing of saying, hey, these are the games that you better get on, and it showed up there, and then it disappeared, and that was all we had heard about it. So apparently that means they got a new contract, and it was an extra 2 years. So there you go. I don't know if that ends now. This would be that 2-year mark coming up in May, and so who knows. I was excited about that game initially. Did they ever? I heard it was kind of rough. It was kind of an empty world. I know there's a DLC for it too. That was one of those games that I was going to try to convince our group to play. But
yeah, I'm glad you didn't. But I did start it, and I kind of regret it. And I think I bought the DLC as well.
That's funny.
So I do need the kick in the pants to finish it. So I kind of wish they would stop renewing it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. Let's talk about some of these easy titles here. There's 3 of them that are the only titles in the service, but I do think they are pretty high likelihood of leaving. I'm not going to say rock solid, but I'm putting them in that yellow to orange range. We've got Little Kitty Big City, 12 months by Double Dagger Studio. Against the Storm, 12 months by Ermite Games. And Haunty, 12 months by Firestoke. That's also had a 5-month Game Pass standard time frame. So I think all of those are pretty high likelihood. Little Kitty Big City is a pretty easy completion, right? That's pretty short.
And just an all-around fun game.
Yeah. So I'm going to let that one, when that hits the state, I'll do it there. And then you've also played Haunty, right? Or
I
dabbled?
Yeah, I dabbled in it, and it's kind of I kind of walked away with it as a Zelda-like a little bit. It's definitely it's this weird 2.5D, and you're just running around doing stuff, and then all of a sudden things start to click. You're like, I feel like I'm just going aimlessly, and then all of a sudden you start to see, oh, okay, well I have to get these stars in every area, and there's always a kind of like a hidden objective that helps me to get those. So it's more than it seems to be. If you start it out and you're like, I don't know, give it a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I definitely need to go back to it.
Yeah, it's on my list of something to play. I was under the impression that it was like an action adventure game, but it's listed as a shoot 'em up.
Yeah, that's not well.
Is it like a twin stick shooter, or is it?
No.
So how the hell does that work?
No, it's not a twin stick shooter as far as I remember. And you basically just, you're moving around. You have a limited amount of energy to. I think you have a small projectile attack. But I wouldn't call it a twin stick shooter. Nowhere in my memory would I have said twin stick shooter.
Yeah,
definitely feels action adventure fits, I think.
Yeah, that was my vibe. Every clip I've seen of it and the gameplay that interests me. But what ifs?
That's an understaffed genre department, is what that is.
Yeah, I hear you. A few titles here that do not have enough data. Dune Spice Wars. This is a dual PC and console release. We've got 30 and 18 months by Funcom. Funcom's random all over the place, and this is the only game type of this, specific genre. The other Funcom games were not even close to this real-time strategy, so it's like I have no idea what this is, and it's a licensed property, so like who knows, right? The other one, Remnant 2, coming up on 18 months for May. This is Remnant 2 is published by Gearbox. So Gearbox hasn't had really any titles leave the service. Technically the only one that left was We Happy Few, and it was because Microsoft just republished it. So it technically hasn't left the service. So I don't know what to make of this one. And then the other thing is Remnant 1 left it 12 months twice. It had entered the service, was there for 12 months, came back 12 months. But that's published by Perfect World, so it's not even published by the same people. So I don't know if this 18 months Remnant 2 date is legit or not. So I really just have to shrug my shoulders on that one. And then we've got Planet of Lana. 24 months. Thunderful Games. Really, from this has nothing's gone this long for them. I do think this one could be, if this isn't a legitimate date, this could be one of those comes to Game Pass core dates, just because I think it's a relatively favorably received title. It looks pretty. I think it fits, checks a lot of boxes, probably doesn't cost that much. So this could be one of those core update games, but I do think something's going to happen in May with this title. Either it leaves the service or it gets its extension via Game Pass Core. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. So now we get into the meat and potatoes of this. My 50-50 games, I got a bunch of them here. And I wish I could be more, rock solid on my prognostication here. But we're going to start with Goat Simulator 3. I got this at 50-50 by Coffee Stain Studios, 18 months. So the sim, the Goat Sim PC version left at 20 months. Valheim left in that 20-ish month range. But Goat Sim Remastered and the console version of Goat Simulator are both still in the service. So, again, shrug my shoulders on this one. I would lean toward not a problem, but I've been surprised before. This one does have multiplayer, right? We could play this 4-player and
we absolutely could. I know other people do that. I would not be opposed.
Certainly a change of pace.
For sure. There is paid DLC.
Of course.
Multiverse of Nonsense.
I mean, the first one had 4 pieces of paid DLC.
That's true. I
forgot
about that.
Maybe a bunch of stuff still coming out for it, but I'm not super chomping at the bit to play it. But it was, the first one was charming enough, and it's great for if you are playing the non-scavenger version of RTDL, because like you can kind of individually go for things. There's a lot of like one-off achievements on that.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of progression to do in Goat Sim.
Totally.
I'm absolutely going to play this. I was not aware that there were 2 of them in Game Pass. 2 Goat Sim 3s. One's for the Xbox One and one's for Series Windows. So so stack that up.
Presumably there's cross progression?
I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll just have to find out. You'll have to report back. Let's move on to Humanity. 12 months coming up in May by Enhance. Luminous Remastered left at 12 months. And then another one of these puzzle type games. And then Tetris Effect Connected left at 30 months. So I do think Humanity has a good chance. Well, I got it at 50-50 here. I just booted this up because RTDL had like one of the first achievements in this. I guarantee when I play this, I'm going to probably do like 10 levels legit, and then I'm going to hit a wall and say, okay, guide time. I don't know that my brain wants to do this type of puzzle, but it's pretty, and they have some interesting mechanics involved. It's a Lemmings, like, I guess is the best way to describe it. The walking path of humanity. It's literally just crowds of people walking in a line. Looks cool. It is really cool. And then really the main thing you got to get are these gold persons, which I had heard about during like all the Game of the Year talks, and when people talked about this game. I didn't realize that they were twice as tall as normal people. So when they're like surrounded by humans, it looks crazy that you've got these giant gold beings walking with. It's kind of cool looking, but that's me saying it after 2 levels. So we'll report back when I put more time into it.
It's a bit grindy, I'll have you know. If you haven't looked at the achievement list, there is a grind to it.
Yeah, there's a lot of levels too. So okay, Firework. This is coming up in 12 months by Gamera Games. I got this 50-50, but this very well could jump up to 90% if the Rewinder leaves in April. That's another Gamera Games. Gamera has like games just boom, boom, boom. It's Rewinder in April, Firework in May, and then I believe Depersonalization, and there's another title by them that comes up in June. So this is like the first domino to fall will be the Rewinder and seeing what ends up happening with Gamera Games. So right now it's 50-50, but you keep an eye on my spreadsheet because this very well could jump up to 90% based on that one. We have The Big Con by Skybound Games, 24 months. The only other two titles to leave were also 24 months. So pretty decent chance. This is leaning on the higher side of 50%. And then Moving Out 2, the last one I have at 50% chance. This is hitting a 12-month mark by Team 17. Moving Out 1 left at 12 months. So that's why I am flagging this as a possible. Team 17 does have kind of a random history with when things leave, but because the first one left at 12 months, I'm thinking maybe this one will too. So that's kind of where we stand on the 50-50s. Just to kind of recap, Goat Sim 3, Humanity, Firework, The Big Con, and Moving Out 2. Of those, Humanity, The Big Con, and Firework are probably my highest priorities in that grouping, with Goat Sim 3 and Moving Out maybe on the lower priority list. But again, these are 50-50, so I'm kind of guessing at those. Ones that I feel a little bit more confident in, we've got two of them here by No More Robots. The game Slayers X, Terminal Aftermath, Vengeance of the Slayer. Yes, that is one title, and it is a terrible name. Hitting its 24-month mark, and then Hypno Space Outlaw, also hitting 24 months. I do think these are pretty good for No More Robots. The most recent departures for No More Robots were both 24 months. Hypnospace Outlaw was in the service before, and that left at 18, but I think No More Robots is doing 24-month contracts now, and so I do believe these two will hit. And so I got them at the 75% range, but I'm feeling pretty good that those are out of here. And then the other one that I have at a high percentage is Cassette Beasts by Raw Fury. It's hitting a 2-year mark. Raw Fury is pretty good about not letting things linger, specifically past the 2-year mark. So I've got this at 75% as well. So that's Cassette Beasts. And then we've got 3 titles that I believe are almost rock solid for sure leaving the service. Number 1, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, 12 months by 505 Games. I'm pretty confident that's out of here. We talked about Chance of Sonar. It's hitting 12 months. This is in May. Focus Home, publisher for that one. I do think that one's out of here. And then finally, we've got Rolling Hills, Make Sushi, Bake Friends, hitting 12 months. That also has a 4-month Game Pass standard on there, but this is by Humble Bundle or Humble Games. So those 3, Brothers, Tale of Two Sons, Chance of Sonar, Rolling Hills, Make Sushi, Make Friends, I think are very, very surely going to be leaving the service. So the 2 of those are relatively short, and Rolling Hills is not short, but also not difficult, right?
Yeah, it's not difficult, but it's grindy at the end.
Yeah,
and the worst is the pacing of it. Like, I don't mind if you make it grindy and the pace kind of keeps up with it, but like at the end of the game, you have nothing to do. Like, you have nothing to do, but you have a couple hours worth of just delivering sushi. That's rough. That's it.
That's rough. Yeah. Reminds me of Mineko's Night Market.
Yeah. But imagine worse graphics and worse gameplay. That's so I am not endorsing that you play this unless you really are hard up to GameScore or you just love the aesthetic.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's talk about the games that are coming into the service. So the March games that we're hearing. So you just gave me some good news on our Wave 1 games. One Lonely Outpost by Indie.io. This is their first title in the service. And so what's that fun news that you just gave me?
Well, breaking news today. I think Noth, if he didn't discover it, he posted it to the forum on One Lonely Outpost on TA, the console commands. And there's basically 2 lines of text that you'll have to enter if you want to get all the achievements on PC. No, I don't think anyone's tried the Xbox yet or tried to confirm that it might be possible there with the keyboard, but certainly on the PC, you can get it done. This game, it plays like, I feel, having not played Stardew Valley, I feel like it plays like Stardew Valley.
Oh, it looks like Stardew Valley.
Yeah, it looks like Stardew Valley. Except for bigger, like the sprites are bigger and everything's just a little bit larger.
Oh, and that face, the face on that space helmet. Oh, that's just creepy looking.
So it kind of zoomed in more than Stardew Valley, where you're really far out. I enjoyed. I played it for an hour at first, thinking, okay, maybe I'll play this. I played it for an hour and I thought, okay, I'll be upset if this game gets patched and they take out the achievements, and I'll be more upset that I didn't use the console command than I will be to do it right now. So, like, I could see myself playing it and trying to rush and get it done, but because I do enjoy the gameplay, I think it's a good game. But yeah, I use console commands, and maybe you want to too.
And there you have it. The other new game in the service is Mullet Madjack by, let me see if I can pronounce this name. I have a hard enough time typing it. Epopia Games? Is that what we're going with? Or
I hadn't looked to see how weird it was.
Epopia. Epopia.
Epopia, yeah.
Epopia Games. Well, this is their first title in the service, so if they have more, I will learn it. Did you look at gameplay of Mullet Madjack?
Not only have I looked at it, I have played it. At least very early on, I only put 12 minutes into the game, and I have 11 achievements already.
Oh, really? That's hilarious. I watched one, I probably watched maybe 3 minutes of it, and I was like, I fully understand what this game is, and it's not for me.
Yeah, it's very frenetic. It's very fast paced, and you're just kind of basically you're running down a hallway and you're killing stuff immediately. And if you don't do that quickly, you're not going to complete the level.
Yeah, it reminds me of like what I remember when I played like Wolfenstein. The old Wolfenstein where it was only the single plane in those long corridors with the blue walls.
So imagine that
crazy fast.
Imagine that version of Wolfenstein and Hotline Miami met in a bar.
Yeah,
and got like really drunk. Like this is what would come out of that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
vibes certainly are vibes in this game. That's for sure. So those two, One Lonely Outpost and Mullet Madjack, first titles for this publisher, so we don't know what we're thinking for that. We'll see what bloomy dates come up. Then we had a couple of games that are coming back. Monster Train is returning. I freaking love Monster Train. Give me a deck builder all day. So much fun. It's so fun when you get to break these things. It's great. The first time it came in, it had a 3-year run, and that left in December of 2023. So coming in here, March, is there another 3-year run in there? I don't know. But I highly recommend you guys play this game if you are a fan of those deck builder roguelikes. It is sweet. A lot of fun. And then Enter the Gungeon is returning to the service. It's had a 2.5-year run the first time it went through. Left in May of 2022, so now it's back. Currently, this does have a bloomy date, and it's a 12-month contract. So maybe that's legit, maybe not. But Enter the Gungeon. And then the final game, I guess technically it's Wave 1 because it was announced in Wave 1, but it was repeated because it just came out the day of recording. 33 Immortals by Thunder Lotus. This is in game preview. Spiritfarer was their other title, and that had a 2-year run, but then it came back, and it's got a bloomy date of 3 years, which puts it at September of 2026. So with the game preview, it really throws a wrench into what this contract's going to end up looking like, especially when or if it goes to 1.0. But I would imagine because this game is going to end up thriving on its multiplayer and how many people are engaged, that it's probably a good candidate to keep in the service to minimize the barrier of entry for people. I'm excited to give it a try. I think it looks sweet and very much up my alley, so I hope it's good. I should probably initiate the download when I go back upstairs. Yes. What do you think, Koosh?
Yeah, I'm excited. I like the developer. I remember playing Jotun a little bit on the PC, I think is where I first saw that, and then I was excited when it came to Xbox. Just dabbled. Loved Sundered Eldritch Edition, even though it was weird, very different kind of Metroidvania.
Mm-hmm.
And Spiritfarer, I wanted to get into. I got one achievement, and then I guess I lost interest. But I feel like I want to go back to that. So 33 Immortals, yeah, definitely I'm interested in it. There's no achievements. That kind of bums me out a little bit, but also maybe that makes it safe, right?
Yep, that's fair. And who knows whether or not like what you do in the game, if that carries over, and they keep stats in the background, and it's play 33 times, or when play in a group of 33 or whatever. Who knows? So maybe they pop retroactively.
Beat the game with all 33 players not having died a single time. That would stick.
Yeah, that's fair. The rest of the Wave 2 announcements, we got a couple of games coming into Game Pass Standard, Octopath Traveler 2 and Train Sim World 5, both moving into Game Pass Standard, blah, 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 whatever. And then the 3 games that are brand new, we got Myth Wrecked, Ambrosia Island. This looks like a adventure game where you are shipwrecked on an island and have to interact with the Greek gods according to its game page header marketing piece. It looks like Thirsty Suitors artwork. I don't know if there's romantic stuff involved. I don't know, but I feel like you're going to try this game, Koosh.
I'm absolutely going to try this. I'm so excited when I saw this announcement, because when I saw the sizzle reel for it, I was like, okay, yeah, happening. I'm checking it out.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you'll have to tell me how it is, and then report back. This is, I haven't given a lot of time to look into it because we just got the announcements today, and I was pretty busy. But there you have it. And then the Blizzard Arcade Collection. Yay, more Blizzard games coming into the service.
Finally.
Right? Although I'm not quite sure that's what everybody wanted. But here we go. This has Lost Vikings in it, right?
It does, and that's why I'm so excited. I've almost purchased this so many times, but I've been like, no, just hold out and be smart. And finally it paid off. Finally.
Yep. And there it is. I played Lost Vikings on the PC back in, whenever that came out in the 90s.
I did not, but I heard everybody talk about it. So I was like, I need to have this. So
yeah, for sure.
Have that experience.
And then we've got Atomfall. This is by Rebellion. I do love Rebellion. I think their games are super fun, and I'm guessing the shooting's going to be pretty fun in this game. What the rumors are, it's not a terribly long game, but I could care less. That's actually a selling point for me. So I'm pretty excited to give Atomfall a try, and that's coming up toward the end of the month here. Is that multiplayer? Do we know? I'm guessing
it's like it is.
Let's just
shooter.
Let's just click on it here. Coming out March 27th. 25-ish hours. Sounds beautiful. That's exactly what I want.
I don't see anything on TA about it being multi.
Yeah, they don't have any achievements launched yet, so we just don't know. But even if it's not, I do enjoy those games. Now, Rebellion is pretty good for at least having a co-op piece, if not, Zombie Army 4 and what was that, Strange Brigade, right? Those all had 4 players, so those were fun.
But be warned.
Oh yeah, Rebellion is notorious.
Heinous for expensive DLC that never goes on sale. Or never
with like one or 2 achievements in it.
It's so mean. It's like 3 achievements or 1 achievement. In some cases, 1 achievement, and it's hardly ever goes on sale. They never give you like an all-encompassing bundle for super cheap.
Nope, never.
Yeah, so if you're one of those people that needs to have all of the achievements, it's gonna cost you probably.
Yeah.
But if you don't care, then it's a win for you.
Totally. And the last announcement to make here is we had 3 games move into Game Pass Core: Batman Arkham Knight, Monster Sanctuary, and Tunic. And so Tunic was the one where we actually had that listed as leaving in March. And so this is where I came to the conclusion that it was in fact leaving in March, and either Microsoft or Finji, I don't know who initiated what, renegotiated a contract for being in Game Pass Core for 2 more years, because the new Bloomy date is March of 2027. So stay of execution there, which I think this is on my tag. So great. It's awesome. I can kick it down the street a little bit longer.
Not only that, but the longer you're able to kick it down the street, the eventual super sale will happen. And then you can buy it and then play something else. It's
Yep, I never have to worry about it.
Exactly.
Perfect. And that pretty much brings us to the end of the show here. I don't know that I have anything else specific to touch on. Koosh, anything that you want to mention? Anything that's stuck in your craw, or you think we need to get in people's radars?
Well, I'll tell you what, I was getting really anxious. It's been a while since we've recorded, and I was just kind of looking at the calendar.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot coming up.
Getting real scared. And things are just starting to pile up. So I'm currently working on Hot Wheels Unleashed 2.
Yeah, that's leaving.
I'm real worried about Plague Tale Requiem.
Mm-hmm.
I think Harold Halibut, also a little bit scary that's going to go away, and I haven't really put much time into it.
Yep.
So I've got a hit list for sure.
Orcs Must Die 3 we talked about.
Yes, Orcs Must Die 3. We've got to figure out if we're going to do that as a group. Yeah,
I've been playing some Turbo Golf Racing, so I've got that as a kind of a unknown for April, which it's just Rocket League golf. It's super fun, but you got to put time into it. So like I'm playing like 3 races a day. It takes me 5-10 minutes. Nothing crazy.
Is there like party based or team based?
Well, there are achievements for playing with 4 people, but I just do pickup games, and so like there's different modes, right? So there's the racing mode, which is you hit the ball as fast as you can into the hole, and it's pars. It takes you about 3 to 10 hits to get there, and it's pretty fast paced. And so you're talking a hole anywhere between 30 seconds to maybe 2.5 minutes in terms of length of holes, and you play 3 holes, and that is 1 round. And if you get first, you get first. If you get whatever, and it's got like kind of battle pass service game type trappings around the outside, but you earn plenty of stuff, and I haven't seen anything worth buying. It's all cosmetic.
But is everyone playing on the same course at the same time?
That's what ends up happening. And so every time I play, I probably, of the 8 people, it is me and maybe one other person. And it's crossplay. So you'll see a little PC next to their icon or an Xbox logo. And then they just fill everything with bots. And so it is, you're playing by yourself. So you're still racing against people, but you can't interact with, like, you can't hit their car, you can't hit their ball.
It's all ghosts.
There are pickups, right? So you can pick up a missile and shoot a missile at them like Mario Kart. But that's really the only way you can interface. And one of the achievements, actually, is going to be kind of tricky, is you need to there's like one where you got to pick up I want to say it's like 1,000 pickups, and you could do that pretty easily just going and just trying to grab everything. There's probably like 10, 15 per race. But you need to block a missile 50 times with a shield, which a shield is a pickup. So not only do you have to get the shield, but then you have to block missiles. And so that's probably something you got to coordinate with somebody. So that's the racing mode, but they also have golf mode. Golf mode is it's kind of bespoke hits. So it's like you go down the ramp, you hit the ball, and you stop driving, and the ball just bounces. You see where it lands, and then you line up, hit the next one, more like traditional golf. And that's, you aim it into a bigger hole at the end of the thing. And again, we're talking pars 4 to 10. And those are 5-hole courses, 5-hole rounds. And then there's some time trials. Now, the nice thing about the time trials is there's a whole bunch of them, but you only need 100 stars total, and you only need to get 3 stars, which is the maximum 3 stars, in 10 of the races per section. So like the first section is urban something, and there's like 34 levels, and all you have to do is get 10 of them, like at 3 stars.
So totally doable then.
Totally doable. Like I'm almost done with all that stuff. Like even with the pickups, and one of them's like glide for 1,200 seconds, 10 minutes.
Okay.
You hit the ball and you glide and you get 15 seconds per hole, and so you just keep doing that every time. And honestly, you can milk it if you really wanted to just grind that stuff out later, but so much of it just happens by playing the game, and it's a fun enough game that, like I said, if I do 1-3 races a day, I'm making enough progress to hopefully make my April push pretty manageable. But again, this is a 50-50. It's already been in there 2.8 years, so coming up on 3 years. It's just a weird date for it. And again, this is one of those titles with a wants the multiplayer base. So honestly, what we could all do collectively as a community is we all just sign in, and that'll force them to renegotiate.
They'll renegotiate.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, we got so many new players, we can't let this leave the service.
Genius.
Yeah.
And then we all take turns shooting missiles at shields. Yeah.
Yep. 100%.
Let's do it.
Oh, I didn't see this. Last Case of Benedict Fox. That was in there too. That was something I wanted to play. I know you weren't as high on it as you.
I might have overhyped it.
Yeah.
I think I wanted it to be more than it was, and it was okay.
Yeah.
I definitely overhyped it.
Totally fair. And then Botany Manor is on there for 50-50. I think that's a short one, but again, you pile up enough of these short ones, and you just run out of hours in the month.
That's such a good game, and a stack too.
Yeah.
It's an Xbox and a PC stack, and that is a fantastic game. Love it. Love that type of puzzle game. It's great.
Perfect.
Too much. There's too much to play. And April. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
It's gonna be insane.
Right there. All right. Well, I think that'll do it for us. I'm ready to head out. We got some gaming to do tonight. So thanks everyone for listening. Really appreciate it. Koosh, appreciate you spending some time and editing this and having some fun with me.
Awesome.
We'll catch you guys next month. Have a good one.
Alrighty.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.